From the very beginning, the odds were stacked against him. Before the fame, before the music, before the world called him a legend, there was a kid named Marshall Mathers, a kid who felt invisible, a kid who didn't fit in anywhere, a kid who learned early that life would never hand him anything. Eminem's story doesn't start on a stage, it starts in poverty, a broken home, constant instability. Growing up in Detroit, moving from place to place without a sense of belonging. He wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the loudest, and he certainly wasn't the most confident. He was bullied, beaten down, and underestimated. The world made it clear, you won't make it. But somewhere in the chaos of his life, he found hip-hop. And the moment he did, something inside him ignited. Music became his escape, his outlet, his weapon. What began as a refuge quickly became a purpose, a way to fight back, a way to be heard in a world that refused to listen. Eminem didn't just fall in love with rap. He studied it, obsessed over it, sharpened his craft with an intensity no one expected. He wrote rhymes for hours, battled anyone who dared step up, and carved his identity in underground scenes where failure was unforgiving. And yet, he faced a barrier no amount of skill could erase. He was a white kid in a genre that didn't welcome him. People laughed at him. Crowds booed him off stage before he even touched the mic. It didn't matter how good he was, hip-hop wasn't meant for him. But Eminem wasn't looking for approval. He was building resilience. Pain was shaping him into something unstoppable. What made him different wasn't just talent, it was hunger. A hunger to prove himself, to escape the life he was born into, to become more than what the world told him he would ever be. His breakthrough came in a moment that would alter hip-hop history. After countless struggles, failed attempts, and a life hanging by a thread, his demo found its way to Dr. Dre, one of the most respected producers the industry had ever seen. Dre didn't just hear a rapper, he heard a phenomenon, and in that moment, the industry shifted. With Dre's guidance, Eminem transformed from an underground battle rapper into a global force. But he didn't change to fit the industry. He made the industry change for him. The world had never seen anyone like him. Raw, fearless, and unapologetically authentic. And then, he exploded. His music wasn't safe. It wasn't polished to please. It was real. It was honest. It was painful, funny, aggressive, poetic, and brilliant all at once. Eminem rapped about the things people hid, feared, or pretended didn't exist. His songs weren't just entertainment, they were confessions. They were the truth. With albums like the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show, he didn't just climb the charts, he dominated them. He shattered records, challenged society, confronted critics, and captured the world with storytelling that felt like a punch to the soul. What made him legendary wasn't fame. It was impact. Millions connected to his words because he spoke for the broken, for the kids with no confidence, for the ones who felt unheard, unseen, misunderstood. He turned his trauma into art that helped others survive theirs. His music became therapy for an entire generation, but the higher he climbed, the heavier the weight became. Success didn't erase his demons. If anything, it magnified them. Fame brought pressure, controversy, lawsuits, and a constant spotlight he never asked for. His personal life fell apart, addiction crept in, and eventually the man who once clawed his way to the top began to fall. There was a moment the world almost lost him. A moment where everything could have ended. Eminem reached a breaking point, a near-fatal overdose that forced him to confront the darkest version of himself. And for a time he disappeared from the world that once couldn't stop saying his name. But legends aren't defined by how high they rise. They're defined by what they conquer. Eminem did what many never return from. He chose to fight. Not for fame, not for music, but for his life. Recovery wasn't quick. It wasn't glamorous. It was painful, humbling, and private. He rebuilt himself piece by piece away from the spotlight. And when he returned, he came back with a message. Fall down 7 times. Stand up 8. His comeback wasn't just a musical moment. It was a human one. With recovery, he reminded the world that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about rebuilding after you do. He proved that you can start over. You can reinvent yourself. You can rise again. And with that return, he secured something very few artists in history ever achieve: longevity. Eminem became more than a rapper. He became a cultural pillar, a reference point, a name that defines an era. He changed the trajectory of hip-hop. He inspired artists who once believed they had no place. He broke racial barriers, rewrote lyrical standards, and proved that authenticity is more powerful than image. To this day, his influence echoes through music, language, and culture. The word "stan" entered the dictionary because of him. His albums are studied. His lyrics are quoted. His story is referenced as proof that greatness can come from anywhere. Eminem's legacy isn't measured in awards, though he has countless. It isn't measured in records, though he broke many. It's measured in impact. It's in the fans who say his music saved them. It's in the artists who say he inspired them. It's in the cultural shift he caused just by being himself. He didn't just rap his story, he rewrote the rules. He showed the world that pain has purpose, that your past doesn't define your future, that you can rise from nothing and become a voice for millions. From a silenced kid in Detroit to one of the greatest artists the world has ever seen. Eminem's journey is a reminder that legends aren't born. They're built through hardship, courage, and truth. And that is why Eminem will forever be a legend.